What's good, everyone? Hope you all are well. Back again with another video, and I just have to cover this whole Justpearlythings fallout following her comments on slavery. I'm pretty sure you've all heard about it right now. It's kind of trending at the moment, and one of the main reasons why I feel it necessary to do this is, well, let's be honest, she's based out of the UK. So it's only right and fair that someone on this side speaks about it. A lot of brothers from over the pond have been talking about this quite heavily, and one even acknowledged that in all reality, it shouldn't even be their fight to begin with, because the platform was based out of the UK. She's collaborated with a lot of UK content creators. That's how it sort of started off, and obviously it's now evolved into what it is now. And I agree with that. The first line of the, I say defense, but the first people who should provide pushback on this should have been us, or should be us. But I've got a reason why that's not the case, and I'll get into that later on in this video. And then number two, for me, I've been on records. This is nothing new. I've been on record talking about how bad this whole Justpearlythings podcast productions, how it looks on us over here, optics wise. So I've just got to keep that same energy. And I've listened to a few content creators who have been talking about this situation, and for the most part, I don't have a disagreement with what a lot of them have said. I will say this though, I find it ironic that some of them were the same people who were praising their life out of her, crowned her not queen but king, praised her business model, and criticized anyone who dared speak out, who talked about the optics of how this looks, saying that you're jealous, saying that, oh, you've just not got the aptitude, you just, you don't have to, work it, all this kind of other stuff. I'm like, I swear, if a lot of black men actually understood optics and understood how things play out and how things will evolve, I swear it'd be dangerous. But after her recent comments, now it seems that their eyes have finally awakened, where at this point, let's be real, it's far too late for it to make any difference. Come on. How many subscribers at right now? Is it over like 1.3 million, something like that? It's like that whole stupid situation, Fresh and Fit. Remember that? Where they tried to get them excommunicated and all that fallout that took out and all this content, which, it probably did well for numbers wise, but it didn't do anything to their bottom line. They probably had a bit of a dip at best, and then they were right back to where they left off. The same thing will happen in this situation, I guarantee it. But in all seriousness, I'm not even blaming her for her comments, fully at least. She does take responsibility for making those comments, but I don't even apportion most of the blame on her. I apportion most of the blame with black men. And it's not solely because black men were the ones who initially supported her, gave her a safe space to operate out of, helped her to get to where she is in terms of subscribers and view count and all that. No, not for that. No, not for those reasons, even though that is, again, a big part of it. But the real reason why I have to hold black men accountable is because, and this is something which I don't think I've heard anyone really say and really get down into, and I'm really, really confused as to why people have missed, for me, the clear and obvious. Who do you think gave her those views to begin with? Now I have to let that point marinate, or that question marinate. Who gave her that talking point in the first place? Because let's be honest, again, Justpearlythings is nothing more than a parrot regurgitating talking points that she has heard from other people. She brings absolutely nothing new to the conversation, no new concepts, no new types of phraseologies. You can tell just by listening to her, she's just learned the talking points like yesterday, because whenever she speaks, it doesn't sound natural. It doesn't sound convincing. It's not as if it's something that's infused within her spirit. You can tell when people have really, even if they've learned the concept and they regurgitate it, it just sounds natural. That does not come across in the same way when you listen to Justpearlythings. So you have to really break it down as to, hold on a second, if that's the case for other things, where do you think she got this point from? Where did she think? And bear this in mind, during that initial conversation, they weren't even talking about black people. They were discussing the Holocaust. So that even makes it more comical. But now everyone immediately thinks it's due to her background, because she's worked for right-wing organizations. Her boss has been, I want to say, part of all part of the right-wing establishments. And I do believe that plays a foundation, but nah, that is not the full extent of it, because who has she been listening to? It has been black men for the most part who she's been watching, listening to, and clearly has her ear. Let's break it down even further and get into it. Who does she work closely with? She works closely with Garvey, who is what? A conservative. the exact same as what the rest of the space that she operates in claims also to be. And what do all of them preach, or most of them preach? You should forget about slavery. It's not the reason for our current plight or situation. You know, it's the fault of black women, the system, or yada, 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 yada. And you know all the rest. We all know the spiel. We've heard it so many times. So I can only imagine off air the type of conversations that go on about these topics. I'll put money on it. I swear down that a lot of these talking points that she's now saying on camera have evolved from speaking off air to guys like Sarah Garvey and to others who we don't see on cameras, who maybe not content creators in that light, because most of them are black. She hides most of the people who are black. She even been on record saying this. And I guarantee a lot of them share their views, maybe even worse. So even when the initial interview with the guy who people got upset with, because what's that guy doing on that show? I don't know why. Or this, known white supremacist or known guy who's racist, why is he on that show? And I thought, bruh, that didn't even surprise me, because again, who has someone like Sarah Garvey had on his show who has her ear? Does everyone remember Tommy Robinson interviews that took place on his platform, who I want to say either last year or the year before made some very derogatory comments about black people following the whole BLM situation that blew up again. So, when you actually piece together the jigsaw puzzle, it's obvious as to what took place and why it took place. And I've said this before on the live, and I'll say it again. I really do believe one of the reasons why she has managed to flourish, especially over here, despite her not being from here at all, has a lot to do with how, I don't know what it is, how a lot of brothers are over here in comparison to our brothers over pond. I don't know what it is, but there's a spirit over here that exists where a large portion of brothers, each passing day, it leaves me with no doubt about why things the way they are and why even slavery took place. Simple question. Do you guys get such a high over getting one over or seeing black women be diminished, seeing them be put in their place, that you're willing to let this happen, that you're willing to, sit idly by while you see this kind of stuff happening right in front of your face? And then when it evolves into the next stage, into the next stage, to the next stage, because you've not said anything, then you realize, oh, how did this happen? I'll tell you how it happened, because at a stage where you should have nipped it in the bud, when everyone was telling you exactly what this was, you were sitting there thinking you're just jealous. You just didn't follow her business model. You didn't do this. It's sad, but at the same time, it's not even surprising. But again, like I said, I can't blame Just Pearly Things exclusively for this, because we all know she's just a mouthpiece, parroting the thoughts and whims right now, at the very least, of black men. So that's my thoughts on this. I'll see you in the next one. Until next time.